All right, what is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel, Connor on Chain. So I want to cover a bunch of stuff today. I kind of want to dig into what I think are going to be some of the most explosive narratives from now into when we really break all-time highs and continue forward. There's three major narratives right now that I'm personally like all in on. And so I want to cover all three, give you guys a rundown on some coins in each of these narratives, or I'm sorry, maybe four narratives, but let's dive in. So, number one, I want to pull up Bitcoin because we have had ridiculous price action. It looks like like you're messing with a brand new 20K market cap, coin right now on Bitcoin. We had a huge candle up almost to 68K, wicked all the way back down, literally in the same half hour at 65, and now currently it is back to about 66.8. On a daily chart, to me it's looking very good. I think if we can hold around 67,000 by the daily close today, I think we're either going to just start to continue very short-term bullish trend, probably well past 70K, or we might end up just bouncing around. We might chop, come back down a bit until it breaks forward. It's very hard to tell what price action we'll end up doing. But what's interesting, and what's actually really good to see playing out, is I've been kind of talking about on the channel. If you guys look at my past maybe month and a half of Bitcoin price action, I've been talking about this parabola playing out. Because if you guys don't know, I spent about a year plus, year and a half just back testing charts for hours a day. Before crypto, or in and out of crypto, in the bear market, I spent a year and a half learning Forex, just watching charts. And I'm telling you, hours watching price action just play out, learning about, momentum. The amount of back testing is disgusting that I don't want to say I wasted that time, but it just gives me a ton of conviction when I see certain patterns, because what I've noticed is, Forex is very random with the way stuff moves, with how pairs move, and a lot of it is based on liquidity and a bunch of random stuff. But with Bitcoin, it seems like when there's heavy momentum and a momentum shift, price tends to follow that momentum, and it follows it very hard. So this is upside down. This is kind of what I've been predicting, is some sort of move to the downside, and I think it's going to continue at least until past 70K. In this kind of scenario, I really do not see Bitcoin ending up really going any lower than maybe 52, 53, 54. I don't really see it hitting any sort of lows right now. I think we're actually gearing up for a really good run in the short term, well into October, towards the election as well. But like I said, very short term, we might actually just see a nice run, pump well past 70. If this candle closes, like I said, above around 67 today, that's going to be very bullish. So outside of that, like I said, I'm glad to see this kind of parabola following through, because even on the RSI, momentum has just been showing that it's kind of starting to get really bullish again. So now let's pull up some meme coins, some AI, and then I want to pull up runes/ordinals. That is going to be a narrative I think many are kind of sleeping on at the moment. So let's pull up some meme coins first. So one of my favorite meme coins lately has been Aura. Currently it's around 28 million. This one I think is just one of the top low cap culture coins. I was kind of drawing some stuff out in the group the other day on just where price could run to, end up pulling back, make some major moves. But I think for Aura, this is going to have a nice slow trend well back into all-time highs. I think at this point we're probably going to see memes pull back, even though they already are today. Lots of memes are going to pull back, probably pretty heavily, bounce around and chop. But I think we're just waiting on Bitcoin to really show more strength, which it kind of is right now. Waiting on Ethereum to show more strength and flip fully bullish. And then Solana to finally start moving up and breaking out of the multi-month range it's been sitting in. So I think if we do see Solana within the next 2 weeks, really start to move into 160, 170, 180, even upwards of 200, I don't know. We could see huge candles in a span of a couple weeks here, right? But if we see that, we're going to see Aura probably bounce, and then if we start to see that, it's definitely going to continue into all-time highs. I think Aura is just probably one of the top lower cap culture coins that I've seen that, I think is overall has a great, community behind it, very strong community. And Aura is just it's a more common word now. It's fairly new, very common word actually, with a lot of the younger generation as well. So I think in due time, I don't see this not doing well. I think at minimum 100 million to a couple 100 million will be hit at some point. But again, it might take a few months. Most coins, like I said, many coins, sometimes it takes 3 months, 4, 5, 6 months of just being patient and holding with size until coins actually run. Because initially this is finally at a nice break and a pullback out of its initial area. This was kind of like the accumulation range that, we initially called in the Discord. Just anything in this range is a long-term buy and hold. And same thing, whatever price does here is going to just be a patience game, At least for me personally, that is how I treat a lot of these coins that are low in market cap. I have a full strategy on how I analyze meme coins and how I, focus on them and trade them / ride them out for a long period of time. But Aura, like I said, I think is one of the best right now. We got Lock-in as well, showing incredible strength still. Lock-in at this point, I don't know where it's going to be going very short term, but I would expect some sort of pullback back down into the range of around maybe 35 million to about 50 million. So about 0.03 to 0.05. This is kind of a broad range. But again, I play the long-term game with 99% of coins here. So what I mean by that is that we're probably going to see this bounce. Price action at some point, it might fail. It might come down one more time. It may wick or come back down into this range here. It may come down here. It may bounce around inside this range. It might do whatever it's got to do, right? Because a lot of times when coins end up pulling huge moves to the upside, they have to pull back. That's just how the market works. When a coin pumps a few X's, it's got to pull back at some point. It won't go up forever, even though at the time it seems like it will. But Lock-in was just a great play overall that we had. But like I said, I think this is actually going to be one of the top culture coins as well. I think both Lock-in and Aura are going to perform incredibly well. Another meme coin that I'm just super bullish on is Inu. I brought this up on Twitter many different times as well. I'm going to continue. This is currently around 4 million in market cap. Chart looks very good. The main reason why I like this is, again, the Twitter sentiment. It seems like they're developers / artists, whoever made the coin and who was behind it, the team, they are very, very active, consistently making new art, posting. They just put a meme profile picture creator. Overall, the sentiment behind this coin is, I think it's very good. It reminds me of an early Michi. So, for me, this again, even though it is, fairly low in market cap, to me it's a long-term hold. I don't care what it does in the short term, because again, as long as they stay consistent, they're grinding it out, the community still keeps pushing, which they do every day. it's only gonna be a matter of time before this runs, well into 10, 15, 20 million, and well beyond, right? Especially when you have a long-term bullish chart like this already, where it's kind of just consistently making, longer term higher highs, higher lows, consolidating. I think the chart looks primed to eventually start moving. But same thing, we might need to see, Solana really break out into new highs here. It may take another few weeks. But like I said, I'm playing the long-term game with 99% of meme coins. So I think that's one of the best ways that you can do it. You don't have to just, be in the trenches every day to, make a lot of money, right? You could just accumulate really good coins that are grinding, working their ass off all the time, communities that are pushing very hard, and just be patient with it, right? That's how I look at it, but that's Inu. This one, again, long-term hold. Trying to think of other ones as well. Because those are mainly like the three newer ones, Sigma as well, but I mean, Sigma just hit the stratosphere. That was a nice, 5, 10, 15x for the group, for anyone that got in. And I know some group members got in. But that same thing, that was kind of a long-term hold as well. Like, I think it was about 1 to 2 months. And trying to think of anything else. As far as meme coins, obviously I love Mumu, Retardio, Mog. Those are kind of my channel favorites. Mumu is actually gearing up for another run. I think at some point this is going to start moving pretty heavily. Chart looks good. This is fairly higher in market cap at 130 million. But I think this is, community strength here I think is undeniable, I think at some point, this is just going to gear up, start making more bullish momentum. You kind of see momentum shifting here. The selling slowing down, accumulation starting, bullish trend starting to form, right? So again, short term, it's probably going to chill sideways, maybe as a breakout and pulls back before it really starts running again. But momentum on Mumu is very strong. So now let's get into some AI coins that I want to cover. So I've brought up NKI many times in the past, months ago. NKI is still my number one, or one of my number one picks now for AI coins. The only thing about it is, I can't deny the kind of price action that it went through all the way from March to about early September, mid-September. Unfortunately, that's just, it was honestly pretty devastating to see how bad this ended up performing. But I think a lot of the bullish factors behind this project are still going to take this into a nice long-term run / revival run. I think they just have everything in place to really make a killing this bull run. Having a full-out working decentralized LLM, kind of like a ChatGPT, and it's not a ChatGPT wrapper. They've created this LLM from scratch. They've been working on it for a long time. I mean, it's just 5+ years work on the model itself. And something bullish as well is they've actually finally integrated APIs for their LLM. So that means that other platforms or even other AI projects, if they need to use an LLM for some reason, instead of them just going to ChatGPT, they can actually use a decentralized LLM. They can take NKI's language model and integrate it into their platform. That is, I think that's one of the most bullish things that they can do for themselves going forward. Number one, my favorite AI project, currently at 30 million still. So it's fairly low. I think it can still have a ton of upside. But as you can see, even like the floor has been holding. But another major reason why I like this is because the community is actually incredibly strong. When it starts to move, I feel like Twitter just goes nuts when this thing starts to pump, right? And I don't think that's going to stop once we see this, really start moving and recovering from here. That is easily one of my number one picks still in this cycle. Again, outside of all that really bad price action, it still to me has all the right factors. Also being basically fully diluted as well. It's like 80% of projects have, or maybe not 80, but a good chunk of projects have a very small circulating supply, meaning, there's consistent unlocks on a lot of tokens, right? But when you have something that's fully diluted like this, you don't have to worry about team just unlocking and, selling, dumping on everyone's heads, right? But yeah, currently 30 million fully diluted, 31 million fully diluted. I think it's huge opportunity for it for what it is right now. And then another one I consistently like to bring up is SETI. But this one, I think it's just going to be a patience game with basically both of these. SETI I think it's probably going to be a slow-ish mover. But something I feel like a lot of people don't realize is the SETI team is actually working for BitTensor as well. That's kind of how they're tied together. Doc's team, they're killing it. They're always fairly active as well. And they have contracts for real physical infrastructure that, for like millions of dollars worth of infrastructure they have coming at some point. I think within the next month or so, they're actually going to integrate it and, get it set up and everything. But I think this is a great BitTensor beta play, if you would call it. I mean, currently now it's at 17 million in market cap, around 80 cents. Still fairly small. But I think it's just a great combo of AI narrative. I'm pretty sure it's fully diluted, I believe, as well. But those are two very strong AI coins that I firmly believe in. I'm going to bring up a gaming one, and then I'm going to get into runes and ordinals for the end of this video. But I think another really strong coin / community is Moontropica. This is for crypto gaming. I haven't been as bullish on crypto gaming in the last few months as, I used to be. But the fact that we have seen Off the Grid, get a ton of attention, and the way that they've rolled their marketing out has been very good too, just for the overall gaming sentiment. But it's actually been funny because outside of that, with crypto gaming, it seems like a lot of influencers that are, they really fully focus on gaming. They've kind of adopted the idea of, what Memecoins are doing as far as, finding cult-like communities. And if you guys have seen my channel, I've been preaching that kind of mentality for, I'd say probably 6 to 12 months here before this, I don't know why it's a narrative now. It's, for me, that is one of the most important ways that you should be looking at, investing into a project, period, is the social sentiment, But outside of that, I think for Moontropica as a gaming token, still one of my favorite low cap gaming coins, sitting at 30 million. Same thing, close to fully diluted. It's not quite there, but this was a fair launch coin, and they've been making a killing ever since. You can just tell how incredibly bullish the chart was in the past. And currently it's just on discount for another run, in my personal opinion. Like I said, I think the community with this coin is just top tier. There really is not a better gaming coin that has more of a cult-like community than Moontropica here, which, again, that's one of the main reasons why I am so bullish on it going forward. And for me, the fundamentals do check out with it. So I think it's just a patience game, and at some point when gaming does start to move, I think this coin has everything going for it to make an incredible run for crypto gaming. So now let's cover some runes, ordinals, NFTs, because runes as well, I think, are gearing up for a major run going forward. I've been kind of shifting my mindset, my thought process, because it seems like lately, a lot of runes have been getting a ton of attention, and I think the main reason is because I feel like memes obviously have been the number one narrative in the short term now because of Murad, or that guy on Twitter, if you guys aren't familiar. But I think there's a lot of just potential on Bitcoin itself. Native Bitcoin based meme coins, they're just, I don't want to say untapped because they do have a little bit of attention right now, but from most of crypto Twitter, I feel like are really not focusing on runes. They still think they're dead. But this, I think, is where some huge gains are going to come from as well. There's like even some lower cap rune tokens going forward. Obviously Dog is one of the biggest ones. This is kind of, the leading rune token, right? Backed by Leonidas on Twitter. Pups, I still think, is probably the number one cult community on Bitcoin. Number two, I would say, is Based Angels. I've had this thesis and idea for at least 3 to 4 or 5 months now. I am a holder of this. Based Angels is a powerhouse of a community. To me, it seems like the retardio of ordinals and runes, or retardio of the Bitcoin ecosystem. That's mainly why I'm so bullish on it. Ordinal MaxiBiz is a top cult community as well. Trying to think of other ones. I'd say as far as real cult communities, like very, very strong that that have just been out for a while, is Bitcoin Puppets. I think it's easily the number one. There's really not too many else you have to focus on, unless you want a lower cap bet, which again, Based Angels is my bet. But even Bitcoin Wizards out, with the Wizard token or Magic Internet Money. A lot of people are very bullish on that as well. But overall, I think the ordinals and runes have a ton of upside to go. Once we really start to see Bitcoin, cranking to 80K, maybe 85, 90, I think most of these top ordinals and strongest ordinal communities, even rune tokens, are just going to start flying. So I was like, why is this not loading? That's been my thought for runes lately. I just think memes on Bitcoin are going to be the Bitcoin DeFi based narrative going forward. There's obviously a ton of fairly good infrastructure plays on the Bitcoin DeFi sector, or in that sector, from Track, which I think is a super strong infrastructure play for the overall Bitcoin DeFi sector. You got Liquidium as well, which are still fairly low in market cap as well. Those have a ton of upside. There's BAMK, it's kind of like a stable coin protocol as well. But outside of those, outside of some utility plays on Bitcoin, I think these meme coins are probably going to run incredibly hard on Bitcoin. So outside of that, that is what I wanted to cover today. These are some of the main narratives I'm focusing on. I've been a maxi for a bunch of narratives on the channel for a long time, but I really do think meme coins and AI are going to be the top performers from now into the rest of the bull run. I think gaming is still going to have a good run, but I don't think gaming is going to outperform like AI or meme coins. Outside of that, that is what I wanted to bring to your attention today. Just a bunch of coins that, I've brought up on the channel a few times and that I have a ton of conviction in. As it's important, I think right now, it is key to just be accumulating and being patient, just jumping into the right stuff at the lows and just focusing on, some of these strong cult-like communities across narratives, right? That's how I look at it. But outside of that, I appreciate you guys watching, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks.